What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 13 of the Humble Threads podcast. I'm Michael Hart.
And I am David Graves. Guys, welcome back. We just wanted to give you a little friendly reminder that if you're listening on any type of podcasting platform, if there's a way to write a review or give us a rating, please do. It helps us reach out to other people who like our content like ours, and that would be much appreciated.
All right, Dave, let's get humble. Talk to me, man. What's been going on in the world of Graves?
Man, I feel like I come in here and say this all the time, but, especially being 26, going through a lot of stuff. You guys have heard about me and my job situation and everything. So I was like, you know what? My homie was like, let's go to the beach. I packed my bag. We went to the beach. It was a little rainy, but I was able to, have some drinks, sit there, get a little drunk, because sometimes you just need to let go. Getting to have fun with people at this campground that we usually go to, hearing their life stories. A lot of them are generally older. So, getting advice from older people, I'm telling you right now, is nothing better. Mike, you're not that old. I'm not calling you old. Mike usually gives me advice. But, I just needed to get some time away. I was thinking about my job, and I'm still part-time right now, and what that means for me, and then the pandemic, and how that affected some things. And me and Mike were talking a little bit before this, but I was kind of just like, you know what? Forget it. Like, I need to start taking some chances. I need to make things work. I need to, get on the train of who I think I should be and who I am. And I've always second guessed myself. I've done that a lot in college where I was like, am I a designer? I don't know if I'm a designer. There's people who have better work than me and everything, but in my corner of the design world, I'm good at my designs. I'm good at what I do. And Mike was there to talk to me about it. But yeah, man, was just at the beach, got away. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. Mike, what's been going on with you, man?
Yeah, man. Just hanging out. Had a couple things that are new, I guess, to me in my day-to-day routine. Most notably, so in the beginning of the year, my wife started a brand new job, and she's finally reached the point of the job where she can be a little more flexible with her hours, and either flex her time or work on a Saturday to have a Friday off or stuff like that. But they just granted her access to work from home. So now she doesn't have to go into the office. She can stay here. They gave her a laptop. And so for background, I've worked from home for the past year now. Like over the past year, my office just moved everybody home. And so it's always just been me home with the dogs and my wife, not here or at a job or wherever. And so now, it's funny because we were joking. It's like, she was like, hey, now you have a coworker. And other than just the dogs. And because now she's here. So like, we'll get to see each other on our breaks. And honestly, like, I wasn't sure how it was gonna be because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like be annoying her if I had a break when she didn't have a break, or if she heard me upstairs because we made an office space for her in our basement. It's a finished basement and everything like that. I bought her like a nice desk, and but it's actually been really great because I'll tell you one thing: when you work at home by yourself and you're by yourself 40 hours a week for over a year, you need someone or someone to talk to or do like that. You find yourself on like TikTok or scrolling feeds or something, or watching streams or YouTube videos because you just want to engage with more people, because if you don't have a job that's very like people facing. And so yeah, it's been super nice. She's now this will be her second week now working from home, and it's been great. Like she's had a very positive experience with it. She really loves just being around with our dogs, getting to go to work and have her corgi and our rescue right next to her.
I don't want to interrupt you, but here's a great idea. I think you guys should buy a water cooler, so then you got to meet her at the water cooler, and then it's literally just like the office. You're ready to roll.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, like, so it's really nice. Like our work schedules are kind of similar. Like she doesn't go to work until like 8, but I'm starting at like 6. But we both get done within a half an hour of each other. And so it kind of just works out for our schedules. She's no longer commuting. She's starting to understand like how amazing it is not to have to drive your car every day. And so there's some really positive things going on with that. But besides that, again, yesterday, as of the day we are recording this, was Memorial Day. Shout out to all of our vets and are currently serving. Your service is absolutely respected at the deepest level. But it was a day, a lot of people get, hang out with friends or family members and just usually have like a barbecue cookout here in the United States. And I got together with my parents and my sister, and my wife was there. We were poolside, playing some cornhole. We had burgers on the grill. My parents are, they're from England, and they love having like cheese and crackers prior to a meal. And there's always almost like a not a charcuterie board, but just like an assortment of random cheeses and things to eat with chips, which is always nice. But yeah, it was just a really nice weekend, nice long weekend. Spending with family. On the Friday before, I got to go golfing with my dad, which is always something I love doing. Shout out to my dad. Got my first like par and a par 3. Was super excited about that one. I'm 30 years old, never thought I'd like golfing this much, but I don't know. My dad just makes it fun. And my wife just got into it recently, so I'm super excited that now I have someone to go golfing with.
I think I'll give it a try, but after working at the country club, I feel like I need a break. That was
but I mean, there's something magical about like really being able to like smack the shit out of a ball as far as you can kick it. And like, especially when you do it right in the right direction. Like, I never used to think like the game was very cool. Like, I think kind of like the attire of the whole thing is kind of like a little extra personally, but I get it. And hey, nothing wrong with driving a golf cart, drinking a beer. Like, that's fun.
I was doing that all weekend. They have them in the campground sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, I do have a very exciting thing to talk about a little bit later on in the show, but please stick with us. We're gonna take a quick break, talk to our sponsors, and we'll be right back with you.
And cut it here, David. Oh man, yeah, my brother golfs, and I still don't.
Like, dude, honestly, like it was something that I knew my dad loved doing, and I never really enjoyed because I'm bad at it. And I was like, but my dad's getting old, right? And me and him have a pretty close relationship, and he's now 76, I think.
It's like
yeah, and I'm like, he's already got a pacemaker. He's had aorta valves replaced. He's had like crazy surgeries to keep himself alive. And I'm just like, I gotta spend as much time with my dad as possible. And I was like, what's the one thing my dad loves doing all the time and he's always busy doing? He's golfing. I was like, well, it's high time that I just really love golf.
That's my point. That's why I'm like, and that's why I usually talk to you about it. That's why I'm like, fuck, dude, like, full time is good for having my money and everything else like that, but at least it's taking care of stuff, so I don't have to work in the afternoons and everything, so that way I can spend time with my mom and dad. Dad I've spent a good bit with, but I'd rather him come over. I have my weekends free and everything, and my mom, because me and my mom had a terrible relationship, and I kind of want to be able to fix that as she gets older, since she lives right down the street. So so I'm hustling, but love them to death. But that's good though. You guys get to go out and golf. Maybe look,
I can't be certain that that my job it would be the answer, but if you ever wanted a referral, I would put one in for you.
Listen, if like I said, I'm gonna shoot my shot at this place.
Take the chances of getting the thing you want. But
if not, trust me, I'll be there because I'm tired of only making $600 in 2 weeks.
Because it pays. Yeah, I mean, you would start at $17.50, I think, is the starting salary.
I'm there.
Yeah, $17.50 an hour, full benefits.
I'll just ping you on Teams all the time. Be like,
flex hours, and you just it's not amazing, but it's not bad. There's a lot of like, I
wouldn't expect for me to be doing it forever, but like you said, it's a good.
I'm not going to be there forever. That is not something I will do. But like, it is, as far as what it allows me to do. It checks all the boxes. Like we have enough money to just be like, we're not rich, but we're like, we don't care.
That's like I said, starting for junior designers, you should be making 18 to 20 an hour is what you should be starting at for junior designers.
Yeah,
at a legit company. So,
but then again, because unless they just hope they charge you per actual time working, And so like if you only do 4 hours on that job, you're only going to get paid, however much.
So we'll see. Hopefully soon. If everything works out, Mike, listen, I just built in the backyard, the patio set, and you can come on over on the weekends because I won't be stressed about my life. I'll have some Mai Tais ready or whatever.
But honestly, my life was really stressful until I started making $17.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Like until I started working the job I have now, my life was very, very stressful.
One last thing before we get back in, but that's literally like I sat down with Ashley and we were talking about.
That's true.
We were talking about our relationship, and she was like, "Everything's literally fine. You just need to be financially stable right now." And I was like, you're completely right, because it needs to be 50-50, and right now it's like 70-30. So I'm like, I'm trying to get there. So that's why I'm like, you know what, I gotta go for it. But
I mean, DoorDash is good for a quick buck, but it's not.
Dude,
it's
been slow.
I've been ordering DoorDash in my area, and I was like, "Yo, watch this one time. I'm gonna get Dave, and then Dave's gonna know where I live, and then it just works out that way."
Yeah, if I did that, I'd probably stop that night and be like, "Yeah, I'm hanging out myself."
Yeah,
but soon enough, like I said, I'm gonna be up until 12 tonight, doing whatever. Which if you're still on after this, we can talk. But.
Yeah, for a little while.
But all right, am I bringing us back in?
You are bringing us back in.
All right.
And you're dropping us into yo-yos, or not yo-yos, you're dropping us into UFOs. And, I would say give as much of what you know out there. Like, I have, like, I can talk about aliens as far as being, like, hyper knowledgeable about, like, I know that recently there was, like, a 60 Minutes where some dude was like, yeah, there's definitely some shit out there that we couldn't fight against. And that there's been tons of recent sightings.
Oh, I got you.
I have some fun, comedic banter I can talk about. There's one line that I saw someone say, but we'll get into it.
I'll take up a good chunk.
Because I think that first section might have only been like 7 minutes before I was like, all right, I was
the
counting.
fact that because it was a legit 6:50, but so
like the first part was about 7 minutes, and then I was like, all right, so then we definitely have to pack out the next 2 sections, but like. I mean, I think we're okay. Like, honestly, I don't think it matters how long the episodes are. Like, I think they should never be like an hour and a half unless we have like a guest on. Mm-hmm. But like, if they're under, like if they're like 38 or like,
well, we're
30,
good.
like, I'm not worried.
Because
with the ad breaks and like the other things we throw in there, like
we're also good because we finally hit a stride where our content and we sound good and everything else like that. So we can always say,
right, like it's okay to be. It's okay to be done with the topic early and just move on, because like the listener doesn't want to hear us like bullshit about nothing. And we can
also say like, hey, we had like we did last time. We have an interview that we had. Go back.
Yeah, go check out the interview. If you're just shopping in now, we have a full catalog of 12 other episodes to check us out. Always be reselling the old product.
Yep.
Because
we'll be in there.
Tons of people find a podcast and then like they listen to an episode, they like it, and they go back and binge the whole thing.
That's what I do. I'm gonna have to
me too.
This Bigfoot one. This guy does like Bigfoot interviews about people's encounters. Pretty cool.
Oh, sick! I'm glad you know that. Like that's cool.
All right, now bring us back in. And in 5. Whoop.
No, how about I'll bring us in and then I'll introduce you.
All right, sounds good.
Does that make more sense? Or unless you want to,
I don't care either way.
No. I just talked a bunch. You do it. You do it.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. Now, just like yesterday was Memorial Day, let's bring it into June 1st. If you guys didn't know, the government, I'm pretty sure, because I've seen it everywhere, was supposed to release UFO information today. More information than they have in the past. I haven't fully seen anything fully yet, but I'm going to get into the stuff that they've been dropping here and there. Especially if you guys haven't seen it, the Navy ship that found that little Tic Tac thing in the middle of the ocean, they released another video of it. This time, I think before it was in a fighter jet looking down. This time it was actually a naval ship looking at it sideways, which is even more interesting. Of course, guys, I know. Oh, it's a blurry video. It's a blur. Listen, what do you expect? Okay, they're getting it on like a thermal camera. So it's kind of interesting that the government's actually releasing a lot more stuff as far as UFOs, whether it is aliens or whether it's not aliens, whether it's, another country having different technology. But I will say one thing. At least they're giving us something, people, okay? Because you're not sounding too crazy anymore. But Mike, I know we're going to be going back and forth, but have you heard anything yet about this stuff going on?
The only thing I've heard about in terms of like new information, which is not much of anything, because just scrolling my TikToks, I have plenty of people that talk about aliens on my TikToks, and they're just all like, "Welcome back to my page on the day that they were supposed to drop all this information. I don't have anything yet, but we're gonna recap everything we know." And it's like, all right, that's not helpful, but like I need to, because like I don't know, like honestly, like I want to trust. I want to believe that the government means us well.
Yeah,
I want to believe that, but like in this is my perspective about what they would release, right? I think because specifically they've changed the name now. It's no longer UFO; it's now UAP, right? And so the 60 Minutes episode that came out with the guy, the decommissioned officer or whatever, who said like, yeah, we would see these things all the time, and I can confirm that at least at the time we were seeing them, we would deem it about 100 to 1,000 years ahead of us, and we have nothing that we could defend ourselves with against that. And so like I have a feeling that when things come out, when they release information officially, that they will admit that yes, there are things that fly in the skies that we don't understand. They will admit that. They will not. I do not believe they'll admit that they are certainly from outer space or certainly from other beings or anything like that. They'll sooner try to blame maybe there's a secret foreign country that's been doing this, or ooh, actually it's just us. We've been we stumbled across this kind of stuff a long time ago, and it's all been sightings of us. Because I take the same. I say like I totally believe in other extraterrestrial beings, races, and things like that. But like in the same way that if you ever see Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, or any kind of alien special on any kind of Discovery Channel or whatever, they get so close to like admitting something. But if there was actual viable evidence other than eyewitness reports, camera footage, or whatever the government's going to say, they wouldn't just release it on the History Channel. Like it wouldn't be ground earth shattering. Oh, just because I watched that one episode of Ancient Aliens, oh, the aliens are real for sure. Like, and so like I kind of take that same perspective of like what the government would tell us. Like they won't tell us anything that would cause mass hysteria, because they just spent an entire year with some of the worst rioting that this country's seen in a very long time, and they're like, unless they're just crazy and they're like, yeah, let's just set fire to a sea of matches, like let's make everyone go crazy again, or they're just going to be like, yeah, there's something up there, get over it.
I think I'm kind of on the same way as you feel, because
like it would almost take, like, I think people make this kind of like this joke about it. It's like it would take a legitimate alien spacecraft landing on the lawn of the White House, and seven-eyed beings walk out and say, "We come in peace," whatever, and like for people to be like, "Oh, okay," like everything we know is incorrect, because like I feel like the government will just want to take credit for this. They'll be like, "Oh yes, we don't know what they are, but we are learning from them. We are doing everything we can to maintain our military's effectiveness," or anything like that. Or they're gonna try to, I don't know, but I so badly want Biden to get on camera and be like, "Aliens exist. Have a good night." I think that would be like the tip. That would just be everything. If it was just that. See, aliens exist. We're sorry for keeping it a secret. Have a nice night.
Kind of like what you just said. Yeah, I think if they were to reveal something, they would be like, "Hey, yes, aliens exist. they were here. They're not here anymore. Just to try and like dull down, like you said, the mass hysteria and people freaking out. Like they were here in the 50s and the 60s, but we didn't want to tell you guys because blah blah blah. And then that'd be like, oh, okay, because they know we wouldn't freak out because it's not right this second, but we had contact with some type of interdimensional thing or alien of some sort that came out of the sky. We saw it, we captured evidence of it, but it left. I think they would do that.
Right. Like they would try to talk about it like it's not there anymore. And everything that you see currently is just remanufactured space aircrafts that the US military has created or whatever. Like they're going to try to take credit in some way, shape, or form. And I don't know. Like it's so exciting, but I'm worried that this alien reveal could be just the government's cyberpunk. It sounds so good. Everyone's so excited to find out what it's all about. And day one, you hear it, you hear the news, you dive in, you're like, but it's not everything we thought it was. I mean, I get it. There was a lot of things that made cyberpunk, go wrong early on, whether it's the crunch time that their devs had to go push through or anything like that. Like I get it, but in terms of the experience in the gaming world, like wanting something to be that good and then just being royally displeased from the get-go, like I don't know. But then again, I still think it would be pretty cool for the government to be like, yeah, there's for sure something out there that we just don't know. Like that, I feel like that would be kind of cool. Like I feel like that would spark a whole new like mindset of like, wow, there really could be something else out there.
I think just to even bring it back to what you said before, they're gonna do that, but they're gonna dumb it down so much that it's not so exciting to you. But for people who know how to read between the lines, they will be excited. Like, holy crap, they just said aliens are here and or were here. Like, why is the name like, oh yeah, but they said they had it under control and blah 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 and all this other stuff. So, because for them to come out and admit that they had the task force for that is kind of a big deal too.
Here's something that's wild. And maybe this is a quick question for you. What do you think would be more earth shattering? To find out that aliens are real and they've been working with us all along, or for the government to say, oh yeah, we totally killed Kennedy? Like, which would be more earth-shattering? To find out the CIA or whoever, took out Kennedy in an assassination by the government, or that aliens have always existed and they've been working with us now, or that there are spacecrafts. Like, which do you think would be more earth-shattering? Because I might say Kennedy. Like,
I would say Kennedy for the simple fact that it's like, well, who else did you guys assassinate? Because now
exactly. And so it's like when you kind of realize that there is worse things that we could learn about government cover-ups than the fact that they've just been like kind of badly hiding aliens from us for the last however many years. You know what I mean? Because like it's kind of no joke that like the some of the previously the best photos of UFOs were on the worst cameras possible. So that's a running joke. It's like there's never been a good like undisputable picture of a UFO that couldn't be, oh, that's just CGI. Because ever since now computers and high-tech stuff is available, can you really believe anything's real?
My thing is the Area 51. Like I said, I say they let us know before and they slipped up and they buried that thing so deep that you'll never know. They took all the shrapnel, all that stuff that they said crashed, and they found those bodies, and then the one dude had the stuff, and then the FBI was, or not the FBI, well, no, the military base there was like, listen, you're going to give us all your stuff, or you're never going home again, and they took all of his stuff. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But, guys, we'll see. I mean, the day is not over yet. By the time this comes out, maybe there will be some stuff, and we will probably touch back on it for sure. So everybody, you can take your tinfoil hat off if you would like, or leave it on, either one. But for the big news, someone give him a drum roll, please. Mike, take it away. Give the people what they've been wanting, man.
All right. So for anyone listening who knows of my social media presence, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. For the last 6 years, almost 7 years now, I have been passionately learning and increasing my skills with yo-yoing. And when I say that to some people, they say, "You've done what? Like, how many times have you walked that dog, rock that baby until it's like falling out of its own cradle? Like, what are you doing with that yo-yo, man?" And that's because yo-yoing, once it got super hype, in the 90s, it kind of just had this like crash, and it kind of fell off the mainstream vibe. But little to most people know, modern yo-yoing is back in full force. These days, the yo-yos no longer just come back up when you tug on them, and, unless you're using that specific type of yo-yo. But the yo-yos I use are called unresponsive yo-yos, and the axle is just like a ball bearing, like a skateboard wheel bearing. And so it just spins essentially until the friction eventually slows it down. But it can be minutes. It can last a long time on a single spin. They're metal, they're aluminum yo-yos. They've got poly cotton like strings that you use for them. They last a long time. And it's something that, I picked up back, about 7 years ago now, back up, because I'm an avid fan of Rhett and Link and their Good Mythical Morning show. And they had an episode, I think it's season 5, maybe episode 106. They did an episode all about yo-yoing in 2014. What's yo-yoing like? And I just saw this. I saw a pro that they captioned. His name is Zach Gormley. He's a world champion. Throws for CLYW yo-yos, and he had a video of him just doing these most like crazy tricks that looked like a combination of like cat's cradle and just juggling, like contact juggling or something. I don't know, like. And it was just so cool to me because I come from a background of skateboarding, snowboarding, and I stopped skateboarding as I got older because my knees just kind of can't take the impact anymore. And also, as you get older, you have a lot more responsibilities. You can't just risk breaking your arm or your leg. Yep. Some people can, and totally, like, I respect so many dudes in their 30s who still skate hard. Like, I respect you, and
I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope your loved ones give you icy hot on your birthdays. I don't know, but either way, I saw yo-yoing as a way for me to creatively kind of have that same expression of doing tricks on a skateboard. You do a line, right? You do a kickflip to like maybe a nose manual to a 50-50 grind or whatever. Maybe that's too Tony Hawk. I don't know. But either way, and again, I got this idea that I could start learning these tricks and I could start creating combos, and I started getting into the yo-yo scene, and it was heavily on YouTube at the time back then, before it really hit a lot of other social medias. But it was on Instagram at the time. TikTok wasn't a thing back in 2014. And so I was watching all of these, almost like skateboard video style yo-yo videos of all these pros doing cool tricks, in cool locations, looking badass and just doing cool stuff. And I got hooked. I was like, I got to learn how to do this. I got to figure it out. And so I just started yo-yoing, and I realized at the time that like all of the dudes that were doing super well were a couple years underneath me. They were a little bit younger. A lot of the competition scene was really young kids that were just shredding with these yo-yos. Like, if you could like think someone was like shredding a solo on a guitar, to that detail they are playing with these yo-yos. And when I was first coming up, I was like, yo, I can't compete with these kids. Like, and like, because I didn't know anyone personally at the time that did yo-yo, and none of my friends were like, sweet, we'll start yo-yoing. It was just kind of me and the internet. And so I started doing it. I actually went to a few competitions to watch. I was never good enough at the time to do anything like that, but I stuck with it because I just really enjoyed the culture. It's super inviting, super accepting. All walks of life yo-yo, all ages. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what it is. If you got a yo-yo in your hand, you can learn to do it. There's so much amazing learning material online. Shout out to yoyotricks.com, where I learned a lot of my early days, and as well as yoyoexpert.com. Not a sponsor, but would be sweet. But either way, and just got into the community and started just posting tricks.
Mm-hmm.
But originally what I did was I started a YouTube channel called Throw Lab. It still exists and I post to it once in a while. And I just, cause I wanted to share it with somebody, because again, like Instagram Live really wasn't a thing yet, or TikTok obviously wasn't a thing yet. And like regular Instagram just didn't really, I don't know. I feel like at the time it wasn't something that I was heavily pursuing, but like I was posting up videos on my YouTube channel and kind of had this like talk show about yo-yos at the time. I called it like yo-yo talk or something. I don't even think I have any of those episodes that still exist, but there's some of the longer formats are still there. But either way, I just started like committing to myself that, you know what, this is something I now severely love to do. There were several players at the time that I really enjoyed. Tyler Severance, who was playing with Yo-Yo Factory at the time. He now runs Recess Yo-Yos out of Philly. Jensen Kimmett, absolutely a huge inspiration of mine. Was in between CLYW and Yo-Yo Factory, but then ended up back at CLYW, and then eventually left to be on his own company that he calls a Return Top Company, or Art. And I just got hooked, man. And like in the same way people get hooked about skateboarding, you know, video games, comic books, or whatever, it just became my thing. Like I was the yo-yo guy. Like I just always had a yo-yo. And back when I was even touring with my band, I would bring yo-yos with me on tour, and like outside the venue, I'd just be out yo-yoing. And like, I don't know, people always kind of look at you funny, and like, we can't comprehend what you're doing. And I just said, hey, I'm just having fun. And what's crazy is like, I took this stance about yo-yoing that I wasn't sure I was ever going to be pro or get a sponsor or be a name in the community that people recognized, because of how kind of tight knit the competition scene was. But over the last couple of years, I've had some crazy opportunities with yo-yoing, just because I've stuck with it and decided that it was my thing. Like some people decide that playing guitar is their thing, and they just always get better at playing the guitar. Or in, you know, David's situation, he's gotten very good at doing design work because it's something he's very passionate about, and vice versa. But I just started getting opportunities, and one day I was watching Good Mythical Morning, and they always do like a spin the wheel of mythicality video at the end of their, you know, first portion of their show. And I was like, what if I just sent them a video of me yo-yoing? Like what's the likelihood that like out of the tens of thousands of submissions, they would pick mine? And sure enough, I got picked. As if by magic. Literally, I had no idea I got picked. It was months later after I submitted it. My soon-to-be brother-in-law just sent me a text, said, you need to watch Good Mythical Morning now. And so I watched it casually. I was like, oh, you know, whatever. He didn't tell me why. I just watched it. I was like, oh, this is a pretty good episode. I wonder why he told me to watch this one specifically. And then the wheel came, and there I was on it's episode 1758 of Good Mythical Morning. You can go see me at the end of the video, just doing a trick, because I know in the video I say, hey, my name is Mike from Downingtown, PA, and several years ago, Rhett and Link inspired me to learn to yo-yo. And it's time to spin the wheel of mythicality. And it's just that video, I then shared it to my YouTube channel, just to kind of highlight the fact that I got that. And that was the first video I've ever posted to any platform that got over 20,000 views. And I don't know if that did anything, because I didn't gain many like followers from it. It just kind of went semi-viral. And since then, you know, I've been posting on Instagram. I have my Instagram, mikehart.yoyo, and TikToks and things like that. Nothing else kind of really ever caught fire. I used to be able to hang out a little bit. I got to hang out once with Tyler Severance. He hooked me up with some yo-yos that I bought off of him, and then for like a week several years ago, I got to hang out with some players in Philly. But other than that, it's kind of been me the whole time. But as soon as I came to TikTok with yo-yoing, I met William. William, the owner of Throwing Sideways, hit me up and was like, hey, I'm just talking to yo-yo players that are better than me or just amazing. And I said, well, I'm glad, like whichever one I fit into, like, I appreciate your compliment. Like, thanks for hitting me up. Yeah. He was running his own YouTube channel called Throwing Sideways, kind of like an exploration of yo-yos, from like, you know, the processes of like learning to also talking about different brands. So an overall like yo-yo talk show, kind of like the show that I maybe wanted to do back then, but didn't really have the skills or the ability, the know-how. And he's just crushing it. And then over that past year, things kind of moved in the right directions for him, and he built a company, that had a line of yo-yos, professional grade yo-yos, and he started, selling them and getting them to actually big time retailers in the yo-yo world. And he suddenly hit. I posted a video on TikTok like a couple weeks ago. At this point, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he just hit me up. He was like, "Hey, dude. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta wind back a little bit. So he found me originally on TikTok, and he was saying, that he's looking for people that were better than him or whatever. And I did a yo-yo trick tutorial for his YouTube channel. And that went up live, and and did everything. So there was already kind of a connection with William. But then a year later, more or less, he hits me up after this post I did, and just said, "Hey, have you ever considered a sponsor?" And my honest response to that was like, honestly, no. Like, I mean, yes, but no, in a way that, like, I'm not a huge competitive player. I just really enjoy creating tricks that are fun for me. Like, I like making tricks. I like how endless the trick creation is in modern yo-yoing. And he said, "Well, that's fantastic. What would you say if I offered you a sponsorship?" And my heart fell out. Like, I was so excited, like, in the best way possible. Like, here's someone in their who just turned 30 this year, about to turn 31, and who's been yo-yoing for the better half of 7 years, and just being recognized, being like, "Yo, you're awesome. We like your chill style. It's super intricate and it's fun. Let's sponsor you." And like that, like, the big announcement came out today on social media. If you go check it, you can go check out my socials for that. But he ended up sending me all three of his company's yo-yos, a t-shirt, a bunch of stickers and strings, and just said, "Hey, all I ask is that you rep the brand, and for as long as you rep the brand, we'll rep you back. And together we're a team, and there's 2 other guys on the team, so we'll introduce you to them." And everything's just been really incredible. I don't know. It's kind of like a I don't know. I don't want to say an underdog story of, like, kind of starting somewhere, not knowing where you're going, and then finally reaching the level of saying that, like, hey,
I mean, it kind of is, though. Yeah, honestly, if you think about it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not, but the worst part is I'm like my worst critic, as always. And, like, for the longest time I was like, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I just missed the boat. So, like, William, if you're out there, man, you actually get a chance to listen to this episode, dude, like, it means a lot that you, like, reached out and recognize this the flavor I'm putting down when it comes to my yo-yoing, and super excited to be on team throwing sideways. So yeah, man. I mean, I know you have limited, but you do have some kind of history with yo-yos. I think we've touched on it a little bit before. I actually gave you a yo-yo not too long ago.
Oh, I got it. It's right here.
Yes. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, what's all this kind of? How's this all sound to you?
I mean, for me, especially, like, when I was younger, it was more middle school. Some of my friends who are out there listening to me, our friend Josh Ellis, he was a really big yo-yoer back in, like, middle school to high school. So much so that he would get girls off of it, which I was like, "Yo, this is ridiculous." Because girls were like, "Oh my god, you know how to do this?" Like, that's probably the nerdiest thing ever. So I can tell you where my school district was. But so he would start yo-yoing, and there used to be this commercial on TV, and I can't remember what the yo-yo was called, but it was the yo-yo that kept going. And sometimes it would have lights in it, sometimes there wouldn't have lights in it, whatever else like that. And it was like only at, like, Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, blah blah blah. And me being the kid who I was always trying new stuff. I was always trying fun things that I thought were fun. So, like, I asked my mom about it, and I, like, begged for her to get me this yo-yo. And I remember it was, like, some rainy day. She came home from Rite Aid and was like, "Oh, I got you this too." I was hype. So, well, the back of the package, they did have certain tricks they could teach you and certain things that you could learn. So I did learn a lot about yo-yoing. I'm not going to lie. I knew how to do a lot of the tricks. Of course, I learned how to walk the dog. Me talking about it's not going to help you guys, but I know, like, one where I would swing it down, I'd grab it, I'd swing it back up, it would land back on the rope, I'd tie it and bring it back up. Yeah, so I have my fair footage into some yo-yoing. But I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was, like, a fun thing for me to do on the side when I was just sitting at home bored. There was nothing going on. I would learn a lot. I can't remember the name of that yo-yo, and I wish I could, because that yo-yo was amazing. And then I think eventually I was able to get a customizable one, where you can take out this. Guys, I'm a novice. Mike's going to correct me if I'm saying anything's wrong. But you could take out the center of the yo-yo, put a different center in to make it grab more, or make it spin longer, anything else like that. Can't remember the name of that either. But I surprisingly, talking about it now, I probably was into yo-yoing a lot, especially getting those ones that were able to do that and everything else like that. I tried to learn a lot of tricks. I'm trying to figure out what happened and why I stopped. I don't remember why, but
It just like I mean, I remember back when the initial, at least my initial craze of yo-yos happened, which was like mid to late 90s, I would say. Like probably like late 90s. Yeah, late 90s, like 98 maybe, like around that 99 98. And like they had like the Yomega Fireball, they had like the Duncan Butterfly, the Imperial, the Brain. And those yo-yos were so hot back then, but you know they weren't long spinning because they didn't have like a bearing to axle. At least the ones that I was seeing didn't have that at the time.
That's the word, yeah.
And so like yeah, you know I actually still have my original Saber Wing Fireball Yomega, but you know I fell off because they just stopped being. There was something else. Like it was like a new flavor of the week that happened. Maybe it was skateboarding that took it away from me. Started skating like a lot more, and it was like, okay, no longer need to do this. And so I think a lot of people have a nostalgia of some degree around yo-yos. Like I can remember being in like my third grade or second grade like math class and like throwing the yo-yo down just to see whose yo-yo could spin the longest and still be able to pull it back up to your hand. Like back then it wasn't about doing tricks because we were so young. It was more just about like how long did your yo-yo spin and does it come back to your hand. And then yeah, I think I could be wrong about my yo-yo history math, but like it was, or yo-yo history in general, but I think it was around 2008 9, like the back half of the early aughts, where yo-yoing just kind of had an explosion of new popularity based on the new style called unresponsive professional, or the correct term is 1A style unresponsive play. And
that's when I got into it, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, and so I was like, and I look back at myself, I'm like, wow, if I had known in 2009, because I was graduating high school in 2009, like I would have been all over this. But I just but like yo-yoing has gone under the radar so deeply over the past 10 years almost. Yeah, 10 years, if not longer. And it's only now resurfacing because we are doing, you know, international competitions. There are people being recognized on, you know, coming on to like certain talk shows or getting some kind of notoriety. I know there's a player who plays for CLYW. His name's Harrison Lee. I think he's like a multi-time Canadian champion. And he's been giving TED Talks about like how yo-yoing has, you know, improved his life and the benefits of learning like a skill in that nature. I don't know. I don't know. I could talk about yo-yos all day. I know not everyone out there totally vibes with it, but hey, if you've never seen modern yo-yoing, go give.
Wait, Mike, we can't leave it yet. Hold on now. I just Googled yo-yos of the 2000s. I had a Fireball 1. Oh wow, this is bringing back a whole wave of nostalgia. I had a Fireball 1. There's this blue one I'm seeing, but they're not leaving the name. But it has the springs on the side and it lights up. I had one of those.
Okay.
Oh my, is this it? Is this? Hold on, the Fast 201? Dude, this is what I had. This is the yo-yo I had from right. Yeah. Oh my god, dude, this is crazy. I'm sorry, guys. You're witnessing firsthand nostalgia. Yeah, because it screwed. It had a screw in it, and you screwed it on, and depending on how loose and how tight it was, is how long it would spin.
Yeah. And
that's the one I had. Oh god, people, things are falling on my desk. That's how excited I am. Hold on, man. That's wild. But yeah, that's all I need to say. Guys, if you're out there, 2,000 people who were probably yo-yoing at that time, who are near my high school age or whatever, the Fast 201 is what I had. Wow.
Oh, sick. I know that yo-yo.
That is
nice.
Crazy. I'm gonna have to Google it or send it to you after we're done this.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta see it. But yeah, I mean, like, if and again, like maybe it could be for you. Just go to YouTube or somewhere and just type in modern yo-yoing. I promise you'll be impressed. There are some crazy kids, adults, girls, guys, all types out there doing some wild stuff with yo-yos. I'm so excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to be on team throwing sideways.
Congratulations, Mike. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
Hand claps out there for Mike. If you guys haven't, Mike is very dedicated, hardworking, and he puts time in. I've seen him for the past couple months. He's been putting out content every day, yo-yoing videos on there, and doing it all. Every time I open up TikTok, bang, he's right there. So congratulations, Mike. Definitely something to be proud of, man. Definitely.
Heck yeah, dude. Super stoked. But without further ado, we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back with some listener questions after the break.
And cut it right there, David. All right, I got to send you the show here.
Yeah, put it in Discord.
How do I? Oh, I got it. No, I hit the chat, so there we go. The Fast 201. Wow.
Yeah, Yo-Yo Factory. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So you were into yo-yoing when this came out.
Mm-hmm. It was on a commercial. I remember it because the kid was like, "Yeah," they were like, "You can tighten it, you can loosen it, and it'll spin." And I was like, "Mom, it's at Rite Aid. We gotta fucking get it." And she was like,
That's amazing. They used to sell these at Rite Aid.
Yeah, it was like Rite Aid, Walgreens. I think they had it at Kmart because I remember
living
in Westchester, all that stuff was kind of in the same area. But
right,
I remember I was the happiest kid when I got this because I was like, dude, because I remember because like this, I said the kid who was in my school, he was like, try it or whatever, and I got it. He was like, oh yeah, these are one of the new ones. This is really cool, and he like did some sick shit with it, and then he gave it back to me. I remember because I think I know what happened. I yo-yoed so much the string broke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And my mom was not getting me another one.
Yeah. Well, you don't buy another yo-yo. You buy more string.
Oh yeah. She wasn't about ordering stuff online when I was younger. So I think that was kind of just it.
Oh yeah. Back then you couldn't buy you couldn't just buy string. Like you would just buy another yo-yo.
Dude, I might have to order one of these.
I mean, some of these. There's definitely like, wow, yeah, these are cool. Dude, like I don't. Man. Yeah, you were like, if you had stuck with it longer and like gotten good, you would have come up with the crew of people that like are super pros now.
Story of my life. So, holy! I remember because I was sitting in my room. I'd loosen it so much that like when I would spin it, sometimes it would come undone and the thing would fall off. I was like, all right, we can't go that far, so then I have to tighten it some more. And then I did have a fireball one that lit up.
Fireball.
That one. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Oh wow! I had the blue one. I'm looking exactly at the one I had right when I was younger.
So cool. Yeah, because you could take out the pieces or whatever, and it'd either be like responsive or like semi-unresponsive.
Because they had like, I don't know if it was on the back of the packaging. It was on something. It might have been when I was able to go on the computer when we had freaking dial-up. But I remember looking up tricks